You are listening to 600 Second Saga. Today's feature is Grey Walls by Kyriakos, Chalkopoulos. It was noon during the middle of summer, which was of some importance given the hot sun allowed the opportunity to the staff and the patients to have a walk at the great yard of the public mental health hospital. I arrived on time to meet with one of the doctors I knew from days of old. The occasion for my visit was a distinction awarded to one of my stories. I had promised to read it to him personally, as I used to do in the past when we would get together. My acquaintance gave me a tour of the areas comprising his office and of those open to the public within the department he has been administering for a short while now. "All the walls here are grey," he said. At some moment, as we were in his spacious office, seated comfortably in our armchairs, and having each lit a cigar, my acquaintance, having just recalled something of significance, told me that I had to see one more location. I accepted, and was saddened only a little that I should now rise from such a nice environment and also have to extinguish my cigar. But soon we were in the corridors, and there we walked, him in front and myself at the back. For some time we marched in corridors, which, in equal distances, were separated by doors with diaphanous glass in their upper parts, whereas other doors to the sides of us, themselves not diaphanous, were leading to places unknown to me. At last we reached the end of the floor. He opened the final door, which also was not diaphanous, and thus I had guessed it would be a door to a single room, and not one behind which there existed the continuation of the corridor, stood in front of it, and told me, "Please, go on." And as I went inside the empty white room, he closed the door abruptly and locked it. Since that time, I remain here. From the window, I gaze at the yard below. Sometimes I shout, but no one seems to listen to me. It has even happened that I would deem that one had heard. Such a development perhaps not at all easy, as the others were 30 meters below. But I yelled with all my power. A group of patients, which must have belonged to the persons with mental disabilities, raised their heads and seemed to look at me, and this in turn caused me to cry against my will. I am thinking of the betrayal by that person. To have locked me in here, where there exists nothing. Or, rather, at first I thought there existed nothing, since at some moment I supposed I was becoming crazy. I noticed a protrusion, white as well, on the floor, and I neared it so as to assure myself that it was merely a delusion. But it was not. It was a small, white piece of chalk. From that time I am looking at the chalk and the walls with horrible speculation. From that time I have moved away from the walls. I stay at the window, holding the chalk in my hand as I stretch it outside towards the powerful sun. Should I let this fall? And a thought devours me. That the walls outside of this cell were all of one color. That if I neared, perhaps, the walls of the cell, if, against all hope, I dared scratch them a bit with my hand, the color of the used up and existent everywhere chalk would diminish, and then I would be forced to watch more carefully. The endless series of letters on that wall. And then, how much do I fear it, to find scribbled, between other ones, even this very story, which I am now narrating to myself. This was Grey Walls by Kyriakos Chalkopoulos. Kyriakos studied in England, the University of Essex, and has a degree in philosophy. He works as a seminar organizer for the municipality of the city of Thessaloniki in Greece. Seminars created include ancient and enlightenment philosophy, literature, and computer 3D modeling. Published in a number of Greek periodicals and newspapers, he also has a collection of stories titled Chrysalis, printed since October of 2015 from local literary publishers. Music is provided by Mads. Learn more about 600 Second Saga, our authors, how to submit your flash fiction, and how to support the podcast in the show notes. This has been Mariah Avix and 600 Second Saga.